For generations now, there have been so many different sorts of games out there, and most recently in human history, there have been many sorts of games called video games. These games are where the players submerge themselves into an entirely different world. I'm Nick Hammond, and together, you and me will journey through the vast chasm that is the world of video games. Come along on this adventure with me, I'll show you the way. Every gaming platform has something different to bring to the table for gamers. Every genre or type of game has something to offer for its players. And every game has a new story to tell, one that isn't told by someone else, but is in fact told by the person who's playing the game. Now, I've talked to people who claim they don't like video games or that video games aren't fun. Let's prove them wrong. First, I'll show you and tell you exactly where you can play video games, so you can figure out just what's right for you. A platform is a place where a game can be played. It can be a console, which is a computer system designed and made just for video games. We are in the 8th generation of consoles, which consists of the Sony PlayStation 4, the Xbox One by Microsoft, and Nintendo's Wii U. It also has the handheld consoles, PlayStation Vita, and Nintendo's 3DS. This is the PS4, a console by Sony. It uses touch technology to eject the disc and turn the console on. This is a PS4's controller, which has several different buttons and controls to use in games and in the menu. The PlayStation button in the middle can be pressed to turn on the PS4. The user interface in the PS4's menu is streamlined with all of the player's most used apps and games. The menu up top has the player's friends, trophies, and many other submenus. This is the Xbox 360 by Microsoft. It also uses touch technology for the power button and to utilize the disk drive. This is the Xbox 360's controller, which has several different kinds of buttons and controls to use in-game and in menus. It also has the Xbox button in the center to access the power menu and to turn the console on. The Xbox 360's menu is similar to that of Windows 8 with box-shaped menu buttons. Those aren't the only platforms for gamers. You could also venture into just computer games, using the computer platforms either Mac OS or Windows OS, OS being operating system. Nowadays, most PC gamers use Windows 7 for an OS, even though it's 2, almost 3 generations old, because it's the user-friendliest for games. The newest versions of Windows just don't work with most popular games, and most games don't run on Macintosh computers. Mac users do have an advantage, however, since most of their systems come standard, with the latest and greatest of hardware components in them, making them great gaming systems. Now here, with a testimonial about PC gaming, is a true gamer and friend of mine, Nick Hansen.
I started out as a kid around like 4, I want to say, maybe 3, with a Nintendo Entertainment System. And then after that, I had sort of minimal experience. My next console, Sega, and then N64, PS1, PS2, computers. With computers, you can, if you're talking about graphics wise, you can customize them for optimal speed or visual, or you can even talk about integral, the hard drive itself, the machine. You can make it faster, you can make it any way you want, as opposed to a console which is just fixed.
With every gaming system, there are unique games made just for those systems. With these systems, great game series are born, with unique stories, incredible graphics, and adventures that only those games can give to their players. So, let's go over the positions players can play a game in the game. First person is where the player controls the character from the character's perspective, so it's like seeing out of the eyes of the character being played. This position is used in several game types. Third person is when the player controls the character from behind the character, and it's even sometimes right behind the shoulder of the character. This position you'll find mostly in role-playing games. An omniscient position is usually viewing a whole scene, not just one character, so it's like a bird's eye view of the whole game. This is normally used in strategy games. So, moving on, these are the most popular game types out there today. A role-playing game, or RPG, is a game where a player takes on the role and full appearance of the character they're controlling. This is the most well-known game type, is widely used as the game type for many games, and typically nowadays is combined with other game types. Normally these games are first person, but in many cases are third person as well. A real-time strategy game, or an RTS, is a game where players move and progress with strategic moves. This is not a turn-based game like chess would be, but instead, the players of the game keep playing without any pauses. This is typically an omniscient position game type, and you'll notice when playing one that the game's world sort of resembles playing a board game or tabletop game, as these games are designed similarly to them. An example of this would be the Age of Empires games. A first-person shooter is where the player's character has weapons in hand to use against enemies frequently. This game type nowadays is typically multiplayer online, is the most popular game type, and normally violent or bloody, so it's not normally for kids. The primary example of this type nowadays is the Call of Duty series of games. Lastly, the massive multiplayer online, or the MMO. Online servers or hubs are dedicated for several players to play this game, even millions of players playing online. It can be, and usually is, open world and is real time, so not turn-based. It typically will have a leveling system where players complete quests or missions to gain experience to level up the character. This also means gameplay is infinite, so there's no end to playing the game. The best example of this game type is World of Warcraft. There are also side scrollers where the players control the character from the side of the character in the world of the game. And there's also turn-based strategy games, which is normally omniscient like RTSs, but every player plays a turn to progress through the game. Now, many games out there dip into different game types and genres, and are typically played on different platforms. There are games that can be purchased through the App Store on mobile devices as well as computers, and there are games that are strictly played and operated on social media, like Facebook, most of which still fall into different game types and genres. Okay, so now you've learned what games are out there and where you can play them. So, what game do you want to play? Because there are so many different games, game types, game genres, different platforms to play games, and even kinds of gamers out there, there's bound to be one, if not several, that you would like. If you like solving problems with logical thinking with different elements, I bet you love strategy games like Portal. If you like the idea of roaming around a large city with guns in tow, making your way up the hierarchy of gangsters, the Grand Theft Auto games are right up your alley. If you're adventurous and want to explore new lands, find hidden treasures, and solve puzzles, well, Tomb Raider games are possibly the best choice for you. Because of how many games there are, you could become a gamer very easily. I'm Nick Hammond, and I hope I've helped you in becoming a great gamer. Have fun!